Hi, guys. Welcome back. This class is called A Vacation for Your Nervous System. We're going to need a lot of props. You're going to need farm animals. You're going to need to take out a second mortgage. You're going to need a belt or a strap, a blanket of some kind, like a throw blanket off your couch. That would be fine too. A bolster or a nice firm pillow, 2 blocks. I'm not kidding. 2 blocks and a wall. My whole goal with this is that no matter what you're doing, if you are in a high stress situation, whether that's your job, your lifestyle, your training modality, this can be a practice that you can come back to and allow your nervous system just to settle along with your physicality, right? So there'll be a lot of focus for hips and hammies. We're going to start on our backs. You won't need anything to start. So once you're ready, you're going to roll yourself down. And I'm going to have you go ahead and take your feet slightly wider than hip width and then allow your knees to buckle inward so that they can rest on each other. Arms are going to go out alongside of you. Palms are up. So a heads up here. We're only moving into maybe 4 or 5 different poses. We'll be holding them for a good amount of time. But like I mentioned, all are passive. Once you come onto the back and you can settle for a moment, just going to bring a little bit of attention to breath work. We're going to repeat this 3 times. You're going to take an inhale for a count of 3, hold the breath for a count of 4, and then exhale the breath for a count of 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, holding 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, holding 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale 1, 2, sipping more, 3, hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just resume organic, natural breathing here. And I want you to feel the parts of the body that are touching the floor, the base of your feet, back of the pelvis, the tops of the hands, backs of the arms, the rib cage, and the shoulders, and the back of your head. And almost as if the floor is asking for the weight of your body. Allow the breath to deepen. When we're in these periods of high stress or high anxiety, or a lot of outward energy, can really throw ourselves off balance. So maybe even being in this position, it's hard to settle for you. That's okay. We've all been there. The beautiful thing about a practice like this, it's like that saying, you don't clean up before you take a bath. You just take a bath. You don't have to get ready for a restorative practice. You just get down on the floor and do it. few more breaths here. Just allow any expression, any tension or holding in the face. Allow that to ease up a bit. When you're ready, take a big breath here. And slowly let your eyes flicker open. Bring some movement back into the fingers and the toes. We're going to start to transition into our next pose here. So you're going to make your way upright. I'm going to have you take your block. You're going to set it up at the highest setting. You're going to take your bolster. And you're going to bring this in front of you and put it on an angle. So it's nice and supported here. And if you find that this is too high after we get into the pose, you can always lower this down and take it to a slightly deeper angle. You're going to take your rolled up blanket. If you haven't rolled it, you're going to make it into a nice thick kind of sausage looking shape. You're going to allow your legs to go into a gentle straddle. It doesn't need to be too wide, comfortable enough for you. And then you're going to place this blanket across the base of the bolster. And then you're going to hinge forward here. So for me, because I have a lot of mobility in my legs, I'm going to take this on a deeper angle. If you know that is not your situation, take it back upright. Maybe even start there to see how this feels. I'm going to hinge forward. Let your head rest and then let your arms gently be placed down. So you want to make sure that your belly is kind of lifting up and over your blanket. And you can let the ankles just kind of flop. So there's not a ton of holding here. It's just a gentle decompression for the low back, the outer hips, the hamstrings. And again, if you find maybe you need to go into a deeper setting to actually receive benefit, you can do that too. Once you find a comfortable place, I want you to direct your breath into the back body now. Specifically your kidneys, your low back, the band just above your pants there. Band of the low back. Take a big breath in. And a big exhale out. We're bringing our bodies into a parasympathetic place where the nervous system is no longer in fight or flight. It's a supportive, nurturing, easy landscape for our inner body. We're moving away from the cultural norm of pushing and sweating and quote unquote forcing. This is the opposite. This is ease, surrendering. Bringing the breath back into the low back, kidneys, backs of the ribs. You got 3 breaths here, and then we're going to change the placement and let our heads move in the other direction. And when you're ready, use your hands to lift up. And then other cheek. And flip the hands up if that feels good. As always, if you feel pulling in the backs of the knees, maybe shorten the stance and bring the legs a little closer, or take the bolster higher. I know we find so much value in movement, like I mentioned. But I think there's even more value in stillness, especially if you resist that. Continue to draw the breath into places of sensation. You can almost envision like a balloon filling. So anytime you take that breath, you're filling up the place in the body that has the sensation. And then exhale softly. Maybe 30 more seconds here. When you're ready, start to place the hands down. Slowly place yourself upright. We're going to remove this blanket for a moment. We're going to keep the block and the bolster as it is. Gently bring your legs back together. We're going to sweep around a moment. And then this is where you're going to need your strap. And you might need the block. So I'm going to show you two variations here. First of all, make this strap into a gigantic circle. Yeah. And you're going to bring this strap around you so that it's coming just above, it's probably more at your natural waist, maybe slightly lower than your natural waist. And then you're going to take this and place it around the base of the feet. So I'm going to lift up my toes and bring this strap around the outside edges of my feet. I'm going to tighten this strap. And then again, once it's placed there and nice and tight, I'm going to roll myself back onto the bolster. I'm going to take this blanket. This is optional, this part, and bring it behind my head so it creates a cushion for the neck. And then I'm going to let my arms rest. So again, be mindful here. You might need a second, technically a third block. If this feels like too much for the groin, you would take a block and place it underneath the knees, yeah? Which kind of helps give you a little bit of a support system. If you're very open here in the groin and the hips, you might be fine in this position. And if you need to make an adjustment, do so. So once you're positioned here, allow the arms to rest. Hands can be up, palms can be down. Do notice if the shoulders need to be kind of resituated so that you can broaden across the chest and the collarbones. Same full breath here. Maybe even imagining something beautiful in your mind's eye. The physical material world is where we live, but the inner subtle body is more complex than that. And keeping that sense of beauty, that sense of loving awareness within us, it's a beautiful thing to focus on. I had a meditation teacher once explain that when you're in a meditative state, it's the sensation of friendliness. I always like that idea. Gentle reminder, if you need to make a different choice in terms of your setup, you can always do that. Coming back to the idea of the balloon. So the place in your physical body where you feel the most sensation. On the inhale, imagine that balloon filling with the breath, filling with loving, kind awareness of space. And then exhale softly. Big, full belly breaths. Big, full breath. Last few breaths here before we transition again. And then bringing a little bit of movement back to the hands and the feet. Eyes can flicker open. So use your hands here to gently press yourself up and out of the reclined position. You can either unbuckle or remove the strap from overhead. We're going to set that down. We won't need that for the time being. From here, guys, you're going to make your way to the wall. And you will need your rolled up blanket here. Bolster and block can stay aside. So once you come over to the wall, we're moving into a supine figure 4 position. So you'll take the blanket all rolled up. And then you're going to find the placement. I know it's hard for you to see, but you're going to find the placement of this blanket, probably where your pants sit. And you're going to bring your feet to the wall, lift the hips high, scooch the blanket there just above the pants. Let the edge, basically the entire buttock, drops off the front edge of the blanket toward the wall. And then from here, you'll take your right ankle up and over your left knee. And walking the leg up the wall, less intense. Walking the heel closer to the buttock and down toward the base of the wall, more intense. And then once you get here, begin to breathe. So if this feels like enough already, I want you to stay in this passive shape. If you have any inclination to energetically press the right knee away from your right shoulder, it's going to intensify things a touch. And we're in this position on this leg for a few minutes. Same idea though, if you need to modify or maybe make the stretch or the pose less intense, please do so. Or vice versa. You have the freedom to do that. The eyes closed down, notice the breathing. When we get these pockets of time for rejuvenation, sometimes it feels self-indulgent, but it's necessary, really. For balance, it's necessary. We're optimal in performance and presence when we take advantage of the time that we have. We don't let it own us. We take advantage of the time that we have. Another thing to keep in mind is that on a cellular level, the cells operate and speak in the language of force. That just means that we need to be here for a few minutes in order for the cells to understand, the nervous system to understand that we mean business. So by now you should feel maybe tingling a little bit. Sensation might be a little bit louder. Maybe you can observe that. Last couple breaths here. Maybe you're going to manually remove the ankle from the knee. And then take that leg straight up to the ceiling a moment, pressing the heel against the wall. Straighten the other leg. Maybe goalpost the arms for a second. You can wiggle the toes, shake it out. Maybe point the feet, spread the toes. And then from here, we're going to switch sides. If you need to resituate your blanket, feel free to do that. You're bending now the right knee, planting the right foot, picking up the left ankle, bringing it up and over the knee. Arms go wherever's comfortable, and you're going to find the place for the right heel. Maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower. And very likely the two sides are different. We let go of the idea that they need to be perfectly balanced. The human body is not balanced on the left and right side. So we do the best to find equality there, but not perfect balance. And then maybe as you did on the other side, holding this shape passively is enough. If you can energetically press the left knee away from the left shoulder, you might feel a little bit more sensation either in the superficial left hip or maybe deep in the left hip. Maybe both. Coming back to that picture of beauty, or sometimes I like to envision a vacation that I've been on where the aesthetic has been so soothing. Coming back to that place in your mind's eye. Another thing that happens, for me at least, in some of these poses is a little bit of cramping or, again, tingling, just a little neurological confusion. It's always interesting to observe that. Coming into the last few breaths here. And you're ready. Maybe manually removing that left foot. And then you can, again, maybe straighten the legs up to the ceiling for a second. This is a great place to hold as well. I'm going to give you one of three options here. This is option one, to stay put. You can bend the knees, plant the feet, remove the blanket if you need to. Kind of slide that aside. You can also scoot yourself a little bit closer and take legs up the wall, which is awesome. This is a great pose. You can also go a little bit wider, take the legs into a straddle stretch if you like. Arms might goalpost. Or you could bend the knees and reach up and take a happy baby here and hold that variation. I'm going to go with a wall straddle for now. It just feels like a nice accompaniment to the one that we did earlier. And then I'm going to take my arms into a goalpost position. And I'm going to kind of draw my shoulder blades together and let my chest puff up a touch. We won't be in this one as long. Breath is full. You got about 30 seconds. If you're in Happy Baby, you can start to draw the knees together. If you're in Legs Up the Wall, you can bend the knees, draw them in. If you're in a straddle, hands come to the outside of the legs and manually bring the legs back together. And then rolling onto your side to come out of this. Gently make your way up. Then we're going to come back to the mat. Reattach your microphone. And from here, guys, we're taking a Shavasana. I'm going to give you a couple options with this Shavasana as well. If you would prefer upright seated meditation, you're more than welcome to stick with that. You have a bolster, you have a block, you can make yourself comfortable. If you'd like to come onto your back, you're going to find your way there. And you might take blocks underneath your knees and the bolster over the tops of your belly and the tops of your thighs as you roll yourself down. Let that plant. Allow your arms to rest. Replace the shoulders so you're supported. Ankles flop apart, feet release, palms are receptive and open. Coming back to that place where the mat and the floor is asking for the weight of your body. Letting the space behind the eyes deepen. Muscles under the cheeks can let go. Corners of the lips release. And the tongue can drop from the roof of your mouth. Giving your physical body permission to be as heavy and spacious as possible. You are more than welcome to stay here as long as you like. In fact, I encourage that. If you're ready to start moving, fingers and toes can come back. Maybe remove the bolster and set it down. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Moving the blocks aside. Rolling onto whatever side you like. And then using your arms to press yourself up. Coming back to seated a moment, sit nice and tall, maybe hands together at your heart in prayer. And just a simple sensation and feeling of gratitude. The fact that you took care of yourself today, you made time. Just a gentle reminder in closing that you are enough. You take care of yourself so you can take better care of the people around you, the relationships we hold. Big breath in. Big exhale out. Thank you so much, guys. Namaste.